So here's an interesting article that is a couple days old, but yet right on time, given the recent events that happened today about the more pressure being placed on Iran for those missile attacks on the oil tankers today. And I wonder, as always, as a counter attack to these type of statements here, do we get those type of false flags out of the mainstream news, where just recently I saw that Mike Pompeo referenced that it's his assessment that Iran is responsible for those attacks for whatever reason, not sure, but we know what that's all leading to. But it's articles like this that should get you to really begin to rethink and to reassess yourself the current holdings you have in reference to your national currency, especially if you're in the U.S. here. But this article here says, Iran's Zarif calls for elimination of the dollar to stop U.S. economic terrorism. And this is from Sputnik as of this past weekend, which is also the same time frame that President Putin also made a statement, which is also mentioned in this article here, about the role of needing to rethink the role of the dollar. So we have Iran and we have Russia both talking about the dollar. And so clearly the dollar has caused a lot of problems, as he mentioned here, economic terrorism on a variety of countries. And so I think ultimately what it's going to boil down is to the world will begin asking themselves, what do they really even need the dollar for anymore, especially when they can use their own currency, or more importantly, when they're continuing to get their weight up in gold terms, amongst all the other options that they're developing to utilize gold. But here, just give you an idea what's going on, I'll include this article down below so you can find out more for yourself. But speaking at a high school event in Tehran this past Sunday, Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif said that much of the United States' economic influence would, quote, go away if countries around the world were to ditch the dollar as a basis for their international trade. And so it's interesting how at a high school event, we have the ministry, the Iranian foreign minister, basically in front of children, mention about the role of the dollar and how if it was to go away, then there would go the Western hegemony over the world. So give you a little bit more here. It says Zarif went on to say that Washington was trying to beef up pressure on Tehran, quote, out of desperation, and slammed the U.S.-led economic war as economic terrorism. Scroll down a little bit more. It says Iranian minister is not the only one high-ranking official to have slammed the U.S. dollar recent days. On Friday, around the same time frame, Russian President Vladimir Putin said that after becoming the global reserve currency, the dollar has turned into a, quote, tool for issuing country to put pressure on the rest of the world. And so just a little more information here down below. But more importantly, as you see, amongst all this pressure and acts of war that's being implemented by, looks like the Western powers that be, along that same line, more countries are reassessing and talking about what they should do in regards to getting rid of the dollars in circulation in their own economies, nevertheless de-dollarizing and just basically backing away. And as it says here, elimination of the dollar to stop U.S. economic terrorism. So thought I would just share this article right here, because it can never be too late when you are actually confronted with the reality that a lot of foreign powers are rethinking and reassessing the role of the dollar in their own countries. Therefore, international trade-wise, I would anticipate in the very near future there will be some type of announcement that will really upset the role of the dollar, the way it's been positioned to this day anyway. So other than that, I would love to hear what you think. Leave a comment down below. More importantly, if you find this informative, feel free to share this so more people can realize where the dollar's heading and it's not looking pretty. Have a good day.